Alrighty, guys. So we have this huge rumor that I really want to talk about, that I'm really excited to acknowledge and to put out there for you guys, about NetherRealm Studios' next fighting game, their next game, their first game to debut, or not debut, but like their first game made for the next gen consoles. Of course, we have MK11, we got the upgrade with the consoles, but you know what I'm trying to say, like their big introduction, their big game to start out in the next gen consoles and the next gen of gaming and stuff like that. And it looks like it might be a Marvel fighting game. So let's take a look at the details. So unfortunately, I'm giving comicbook.com a click, but comicbook.com is the one that has a lot of details about this. There isn't much details about this news, but what it says here is, unfortunately, the new report, which comes from Daniel Richman, is light on details, but Richmond claims the game is already in production for next-gen consoles, which is to say PS5, Xbox Series X, and S, and you'd assume a PC version is also on the works, but it also sounds like PS4 and Xbox One users may miss out, and I think that's fine. I think that's fine. I feel like if you made a game that's compatible on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, then you didn't make a game made for the next gen consoles. I feel like if you just dive yourself into full next gen, I think you get the full experience of what the game is supposed to be. I mean, not to say that PS4 games and Xbox One games look bad or anything like that, but it's like, it was the problem with PS3 and PS4 games. It was like when Black Ops 3, well, when it's like when Treyarch tried to say like, yeah, this game is made for the next gen consoles, but they had a PS3 port. You know, that means it wasn't really made for the next gen consoles. This I'm okay with, because like this looks like it's made for the next gen consoles, so they're diving into that next gen experience 100%. So again, we don't have that many details about this Marvel fighting game, but it comes from this guy called Daniel Richman. And if you guys know anything about like comic book movies, or if you're in the comic book community, or if you're in the gaming community, this guy is known to have a lot of scoops. This guy is known to have some scoops on movies and games and such and things like that. So this isn't something super radical. This isn't like a random like 4chan user saying something like that. Like, this is coming from somebody who's known to actually put some stuff out. I don't think he's always been right, but he's definitely got some things right. 100% he's got some things right. So my point is, this isn't like a random 4chan guy. This is actually somebody who is known to do this kind of stuff. So you might be saying, Bruss, this is too good to be true. This sounds a little too radical. Like, why would NetherRealm make a fighting game about Marvel when they're under WB? The first thing I want to do is remind you of an interview that Ed Boon did in 2019 with Game Informer, where he mentions that he actually did meet with Marvel. Him and NetherRealm Studios did meet with Marvel to talk about a Marvel fighting game.
Have you ever had one conversation with Marvel about making a fighting game?
Yes.
What? When?
I did, but I probably shouldn't talk about it.
Are you excited about that idea?
Oh God, yeah.
The other thing that I want to bring up is that WB has, thank you so much for resubscribing with Prime. I really appreciate that. The other thing that I want to bring up is that WB has made Marvel games. WB makes the Lego Marvel games. Now you might say, well, Bruss, that's Lego Marvel, not like Marvel, but there's the point, is that WB is capable of making something that is a Marvel product. So why not make a deal with NetherRealm and Marvel about making a Marvel fighting game? So just on the fact alone that WB is willing to make a Marvel product, WB has made Marvel products, shows that this isn't in the realm of impossibility. In fact, it's in the realm of possibility. The other thing that I want to mention, okay, if it's just Lego Marvel, like, you know, that's a unique thing, that's an exception to the rule, then that's fine. I think WB and Marvel would probably want to do something like Marvel versus DC. Like, if Marvel really wanted NetherRealm to make a fighting game based on their characters, but it's under WB, so WB is like, well, you know, like, we don't want to promote our competitors. Well, here's the thing. Why not really do that why don't you just bring them together and make Marvel versus DC? Ed Boon literally mentioned on the fly, like, yeah, I had conversations with Marvel. It'd be cool if we made a Marvel fighting game or Marvel versus DC. He mentioned that, and I'm just like, okay, what if it is Marvel versus DC? And just think about that, guys. NetherRealm's big introduction to the next-gen consoles, NetherRealm's big introduction, NetherRealm's debut on the next-gen consoles, their debut game, I think they want to go out with a bang. They want to start out with a bang. And I think a Marvel versus DC game actually fits that criteria, and I really, really hope that's the case. But a Marvel versus DC game would be like literally the game of the century, really. Like, this would be like the best thing ever. And if anyone's gonna do it, like, who else is gonna do it? Like, what other game developer is gonna do it? It's probably NetherRealm who's going to do it. Now, a lot of people on social media have been saying, oh, this means MK11 is dead, MK11's done, it's over, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, one, it's just a rumor so far, nothing's confirmed, nothing is set in stone. Two, of course, NetherRealm is always working on their next game. They always start on their next game, at least to some degree, no matter if it's on a small scale or a big scale, they start working on it. Even when their main game is their prime game right now. So I just want to say, no, this doesn't mean MK11 is dead. I do still think we're going to get some more content. We might get one last DLC batch for MK11 pretty soon. And just because there's this rumor going out there that about NetherRealm's next game doesn't mean that MK11 is dead. Right now, it's just a rumor. Nothing's confirmed. Nothing is set in stone. It's just a rumor right now. It's a likely rumor. It's a rumor that has a pretty good chance of coming true. But even then, that doesn't mean MK11 is dead. A Marvel vs. DC game or a Marvel game made by NetherRealm is so exciting, and I'm very, very excited to talk about it. And I'm very, very, very much looking forward to seeing how it looks like. My only concern, here's my only concern, is that the art style of Injustice 2 and MK11 carries over to their Marvel fighting game or their Marvel vs. DC fighting game, and everybody in the Marvel roster looks like fucking robots. You know, we have like Doctor Strange armor, we have like Mr. Fantastic wearing armor, we have robot Spider-Man and all that kind of stuff. I really, 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 really hope we don't get any of that shit in this Marvel fighting game or this Marvel vs. DC fighting game, whatever it might be. I'll just call it a Marvel product for right now, because man, that's gonna be a real turnoff just looking at like robot versions of my comic book characters. Like, can we just have characters wearing spandex, please? Can we just have the characters look how they are in the comics? Can I at least have the option to have the characters look like how they are in the comics? Because in a lot of cases in Injustice 2, we didn't even get to have that. And I really, really, really hope we do not get that in this Marvel game. I really, really hope we don't get that. Once we get more details about this rumor, once it actually comes true or something like that, I cannot wait to talk about roster mock-ups, what I want to see in the game, my hopes and all that kind of stuff. I just cannot wait to talk all about NetherRealm's next game. I'm very, very excited. Like, this is exciting, and I'm just very, very glad it's not Injustice 3, because I'm not a big fan of Injustice. It's not my, it's just not for me. Knowing that there's a good possibility NetherRealm was working on something completely new and making a Marvel fighting game, it's just, oh, breath of fresh air. It makes me, oh, I just want to dive into it. I just want to dive into the realm of ideas. So guys, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Do you guys think this rumor is going to be true? I think it is. I think there's a very good possibility that it might be. But let me just know your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments below. I cannot wait to talk about it more if it becomes true. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a big thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video from me. I'll see you guys in the next video.